Discovered. Heartwarming plea of 12-year-old black girl to save her diary from stepmother's wrath. Maya sat cross-legged on her bedroom floor, the world outside humming with life. Her diary, a patchwork of thoughts and dreams, lay open before her like a treasure chest. Each word was a whisper, a secret she shared with only the pages. One day, I'll be a writer, she wrote fervently, her pencil dancing as if it had a life of its own. But lately, her words felt heavy. With her father's recent marriage to Karen, his stern but well-meaning stepmother, Maya's dreams were tangled in unspoken expectations. "You need to grow up, Maya," Karen had said, shaking her head with disapproval when Maya found solace flicking through her diary. "That's just childish nonsense." Each dismissal felt like a cold wind, chilling Maya's creativity and leaving her feeling utterly alone. Her love for her father swirled around her like a warm blanket, but the connection was fraying, and every word she wrote seemed to drive a wedge deeper between them. In their suburban neighborhood, where summer barbecues and community gatherings were the heartbeats of life, Maya's struggles mirrored those of her neighbors. Old Mr. Peterson, a retired veteran, often sat on his porch, a weathered smile on his face, listening to her woes. "Every storm passes, Maya," he would say, his voice a gentle rumble. "Use that pain. Turn it into something beautiful." His encouragement sparked a tiny flame in her. Maybe her diary wasn't just a childish fantasy, it was part of who she was, but that flame flickered low when Karen discovered the diary during a family cleanup day. "What is this?" she sneered, holding it aloft as if it were a crumpled piece of garbage. "You'll never grow up if you keep this up." Maya's heart raced, desperation crawling up her spine. "Please, don't throw it away," she pleaded, tears prickling at the corners of her eyes. "It's everything I am. It's my dream." Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Maya's heart pounded as she stood there, unsteady on the brink of vulnerability, hoping for some sign of understanding. Karen's eyes softened momentarily before hardening again. "Grow up, Maya. Let us face reality." In that moment, the distance between them felt like an ocean. The neighborhood, sensing the turmoil, began to rally around her. Stories of struggles and resilience poured in, weaving a tapestry of support. The annual talent show loomed large in Maya's mind, a glimmer of hope on the horizon. With every practiced line from her diary, she imagined transforming her pain into something beautiful. As the day approached, she stood before the mirror, rehearsing the words that had once felt trapped inside her. When the lights dimmed at the show and her name echoed through the auditorium, she stepped onto the stage, heart racing. This was her moment, a chance to share her soul, to bind her grief to the melodies of the world around her. Would it be enough to heal the fissures between her and Karen? She inhaled deeply, ready to unleash it all. The auditorium was thick with anticipation, a hush washing over the crowd as Maya adjusted her grip on the microphone. Faces blurred together, warmth and concern radiating from familiar neighbors, friends, and even the new kids from school. Swallowed by the spotlight, the enormity of the moment loomed over her. She could feel her heart thump loudly in her chest, matching the rhythm of her racing thoughts. Maya took a deep breath and let the ambience wrap around her like a comforting hug, a stark contrast to Karen's cold dismissals. She glanced at her father sitting near the front row, his kind eyes locked on her. In that moment, she felt buoyed by his support, and the courage began to swell within her. "I wrote this," she stammered, feeling her voice tremble. "It's something I need to share." She began to read, the words from her diary spilling out like a waterfall, each syllable cascading freely. "The world scares me sometimes, like a big, shadowy monster looming just out of reach. I worry I won't ever be enough. The crowd seemed to breathe in unison with her, drawing closer as Maya's voice grew steadier. Then she hit a pivotal moment in her reading, where her pain transformed into purpose. But I've learned to use that fear. I write it down. I pour my feelings into stories that help me breathe. With every word, she painted a picture of her reality, a blend of sadness and hope. The audience shifted, murmurs of empathy fluttering through the room. She saw Mr. Peterson, his eyes glistening, nodding along. A beautiful connection formed. It was more than just her diary, it represented anyone who had ever struggled to voice their true selves. Maya continued, her passion igniting every corner of the room. I write because it gives me a voice. Because even when I'm small and the world feels big, my words matter. They are my dreams. Her gaze drifted toward Karen, who shifted uncomfortably in her seat. For a fleeting moment, their eyes met, and a silent question hung between them: could she understand the weight of words? Did her heart hold space for Maya's dreams alongside her reality? The final line of the reading echoed, filled with unyielding sincerity. I refuse to let anyone, not even the ones I love, take that away from me. The applause erupted like a thunderstorm, enveloping her in applause and cheers. Tears streamed down her cheeks as she smiled, heart feeling wide and open. Every bit of uncertainty faded into a cathartic release, revealing a deep sense of belonging amongst her community. As she took a bow, reveling in the praise, Karen stood with an unreadable expression. Maya's heart pounded savagely. What would she say later? Would she finally see the beauty in her daughter's soul? But before she could process it, the next act emerged, pulling attention away. A wave of uncertainty washed over her. Did she take a step forward or hold space for more healing? The talent show felt like one thread in a vast tapestry of her story, and the evening was far from over. Maya walked off the stage, breathless and vulnerable, yet empowered. Deep inside, she knew this was just the beginning, a moment igniting a journey of transformation for everyone involved. What would happen when the lights dimmed again, and the applause faded? She had yet to confront the truth waiting for her, a truth that might change everything. As the spotlight dimmed and the noise of applause faded, Maya stepped off the stage, her heart still racing. The air felt heavier now, laden with unspoken words and unexamined truths. She took a moment to catch her breath, leaning against the curtain, watching the next act unfold. Two boys juggled flaming torches, and the audience erupted in laughter and excitement, a stark contrast to the vulnerability she had just shared. For Maya, the initial rush had transformed into a silent storm inside. The cheers still rang in her ears, but alongside them came the echo of Karen's disapproving silence. That moment of eye contact, was it understanding? Could it be the glimmer of a new beginning? Or just a reminder of their fractured connection? Maya wrapped her arms around herself, trying to suppress the swell of insecurity creeping back in. Her father's comforting gaze was still bright in her mind, but now it felt distant as memories of harsh words tumbled through her thoughts. What if Karen never saw her for who she truly was? Just then, the MC announced a break between acts, giving attendees a moment to mingle and grab refreshments. Maya found herself slipping into the crowd, wanting to experience the joyous laughter of her peers. But she felt like a ghost moving through the vibrant life around her, her mind a million miles away. Maya. That was amazing. A classmate, Jessie, dashed over, arms flailing in excitement. I can't believe how brave you were up there. Maya managed a smile, the compliment warming her a bit. Thanks. It felt good to finally say it out loud. Jessie's eyes sparkled. Brilliant. I always knew you had it in you. Seriously, I thought we'd need tissues. Before Maya could respond, Jessie was swept into a conversation with another friend, leaving her feeling just as isolated as before. She walked toward the snack table, pouring herself a soda, trying to shake off the lingering doubts that clung like a wet blanket. The shuffling crowd and the smell of popcorn suddenly reminded her of why she came to this talent show in the first place. Something stirred in her, a yearning for acceptance, not just from the audience, but from her own heart. She thought about her diary, the pages filled with words that voiced every fear and every dream. What if Karen found it? What if she tore those pages apart like she tore apart Maya's confidence? Just as the anxiety began to swell again, she spotted Karen near the exit, scanning the crowd with a tight-lipped expression. Maya's heart sank. She could feel the weight of that moment from earlier pulling her back, reminding her of all the battles they've fought. The little battles fought for her right to be heard, to exist without judgment. Taking a deep breath, Maya straightened her back. She swallowed the fear, deciding it was time to take action. She wouldn't just retreat or let the discomfort dictate her choices. But how to approach Karen? With tentative steps, she moved through the throngs of students. Her heart thudded with every inch closer. Would she open the door to a new path, or would it swing shut like so many times before? When she finally stood in front of Karen, her voice faltered slightly, but she pushed through. "Mom, can we talk?" The moment hung heavy between them. It was far more than just a conversation, it was a bridge to understanding, a chance to finally tear down the walls. Karen's expression shifted, revealing a glimmer of surprise. "What now, Maya?" she said, her tone a mix of irritation and curiosity. Bravely, Maya readied herself for what she was truly about to face head-on, the whirlwind of emotions and the uncertain outcome. Maybe she could change everything, or at least start the change. As silence enveloped them, she knew this would either mark a new chapter or forge the same old cycle. Would her courage finally breach the wall? Or would it spiral into yet another harsh rejection? The very air thickened with anticipation, every moment a panicked heartbeat. And, deep inside, Maya longed to discover what lay beyond the words left unspoken. Maya's throat tightened as she stood before her mother, the noise of the talent show fading into a dull murmur. The vibrant crowd behind her felt miles away, just a blur of colors and laughter. All her focus narrowed to Karen's guarded eyes, each blink heavy with unvoiced judgments and expectations. "Can we talk?" she repeated, trying to keep her voice steady. Her heart raced, anxiously awaiting a response that would either unravel her fears or exacerbate them. "Here. Now." Karen raised an eyebrow, crossing her arms. It felt less like surprise and more like defensive armor. Inside, Maya felt a sharp pang of frustration, battling for both patience and understanding. "Just for a minute. Please." Maya's voice wavered, but her resolve remained intact. She needed this moment, desperate for some semblance of connection. Seeing Karen pause, even just for an instant, was like catching a fleeting glimpse of sunlight through dark clouds. Maya summoned her strength, recalling her earlier performance and the lingering rush of courage. Maybe she could channel that into this conversation. "Look, I want you to understand me," Maya pressed, deeply aware of how vulnerable she sounded. "I shared my feelings tonight. It was hard to do, but I thought maybe you might hear me." Karen's expression softened just a fraction, yet the protective walls around her heart seemed to writhe with agitation. "Maya, I don't know what you want from me. Ever since you started writing in that diary, it's been like you're hiding things. I don't want you shutting me out." Maya felt her stomach churn. "It's not hiding. It's just hard to put into words. I write to understand myself." "Understand yourself? Or avoid talking to me?" The challenge in her mother's tone felt like a blow, stirring up a tempest inside of Maya. "No. It's not like that," she insisted. Each rebuttal burned with a desire to be seen clearly, like a fierce flame amidst the tension. "This isn't just about some stupid diary or my writing. It's about you and me. I want us to be close. I want you to be proud of me." Proud. The word hung in the air like a hopeful whisper, yet Karen's response was still guarded. "Maya, Karen paused, struggling to find the words. In that fragile moment, Maya saw hints of something softer in her mother's glance. This was not a wall, but more like a veil of worry, a concern rooted in love that had become entangled in misunderstandings. "What happened between us started a long time ago," Maya continued gently, feeling the stirrings of empathy spark within her. But I can't change that if you want to let me in. I need us to try. Karen's eyes glistened momentarily, but her resolve quickly masked it. We've had our disagreements, and I don't know if we can just fix everything with a talk. You're growing up fast, but that makes me worried. Maya took a step forward, emboldened by her mother's uncertainty. I'm not trying to make things worse. I just want you to know me. To really know me. I share my dreams and fears in my diary. I'm afraid if you read it, you'll think I'm a failure. But that's not true. I'm just trying to find my way. Karen sighed and rubbed her temples. Maya, it's tough to balance everything. I want to support you, but you need to meet me halfway. You can't just expect me to understand without showing me more. In her heart, Maya felt a shift. Maybe this wasn't the rejection she feared. The walls seemed to have cracks in them. Maybe, just maybe, this could lead to something more meaningful. Can we start now? Maya's voice was barely above a whisper, yet every ounce of hope boiled beneath it. Can we read it together? Karen's face mirrored a struggle, caught between her instincts and the possibility of connection. As silence enveloped them once more, the weight of potential change was palpable. Would this be the moment that reshaped everything, or would they slip back into old patterns? Maya held her breath, teetering on the edge of vulnerability, ready to reveal everything, no matter the cost. And as her heart raced, bursting with impending revelation, she wondered whether courage could finally guide them to a new path or if fear would keep them apart forever. Just as Maya's heartbeat began to settle into a rhythmic thrum, Karen drew in a deep breath. The moment felt electric, charged with possibilities that danced in the air around them. Maya could see the war in her mother's eyes, a fierce battle of instincts that was tangled up with love, fear, and the daunting weight of expectations. Okay, Karen finally said, her voice low but steady. Let's start with the diary. Maya's heart soared. She nodded, a rush of relief cascading through her. Thank you, Mom. I really think it will help, she said, feeling the genuine warmth of hope light up her chest. They sat side by side on a nearby bench, the cacophony of the talent show buzzing in the background like a distant celebration. Maya pulled her prized journal from her backpack, the pages worn and dog-eared, every word inscribed a piece of her soul. Holding it tightly, she hesitated, suddenly aware of the magnitude of what she was about to share. Are you ready? Karen asked, her brow furrowed but her tone softer, a hint of curiosity threading through her apprehension. Yeah, but I need you to promise me something first, Maya said, her voice trembling slightly. Promise you won't judge me for what I've written. It's raw and messy, just like my feelings. Okay, I promise, Karen replied, her eyes locked onto Maya's with unexpected sincerity. With a steadying breath, Maya opened the diary to a page marked with a frayed corner. In the back of her mind, doubts whispered, chipping away at her courage. What if her words hurt her mother more than they helped? What if she wouldn't understand? But she couldn't let fear rule her any longer. This is from a few weeks ago. She began reading aloud, her voice quiet yet filled with the weight of her unspoken pain. Maya stumbled through lines of honest, heartfelt revelations about her struggles with self-doubt, her longing for her mother's approval, and the intense desire to feel visible in a world that often felt dismissive. As Maya poured her heart out, Karen listened intently, her arms slowly uncrossing, her gaze softening. The emotional distance that had once defined them began to fade, replaced by an uncharted bond forged in shared vulnerability. I wrote this because sometimes, I don't feel like I fit in, Maya continued, the rhythm of her voice rising and falling, each word bringing her closer to the resolution she desperately sought. I need you to know that when I feel alone, it's like I'm drowning. I just want to feel like I matter, especially to you. Tears began to pool at the corners of Karen's eyes, reflecting the depths of Maya's feelings. But, instead of pulling away, she leaned closer, sitting on the edge of her seat. Maya, you matter. You are everything to me. Her voice trembled, and it was then Maya saw her mother, the woman who wore worry like a shroud, who often seemed closed off and unreachable. Now, she was just a woman cracking through the smiles and silence. "I'm here, Mom. I'm here," Maya whispered, their connection feeling electric. But just as they began to slip into this fragile moment of clarity, a voice echoed from across the lawn. "Maya. Mom. You've got to see this." Startled, they shifted their attention as a neighbor girl came rushing over, excitement spilling from her words. Maya's breath quickened with confusion. Part of her wanted to pull away, to preserve this moment like a firefly cupped gently in her hands. "Can you believe it? There's a dance-off happening." The girl gestured animatedly toward the stage, oblivious to the weight of Maya's shared confessions. Karen's gaze flickered between Maya and the approaching commotion, uncertainty knotted in Maya's stomach. Would this moment linger, or would the chaos of the night seep back in, stealing away their fragile connection? Without thinking, Maya reached for her mother's hand, squeezing it tightly as if anchoring them both to the promise of something new. "Can we just stay for a minute?" she asked, eyes wide with hope, desperate for this connection to persist against the pull of the world outside their bubble. Karen looked down at their intertwined fingers, a dawning realization playing across her face. "All right," she said slowly, "but I want to hear more later." In that split second, time stretched, and the weight of possibilities unfurled before them. Would this be the beginning of a genuine understanding, or would the distractions of life pull them apart once again? Maya squeezed her mother's hand tighter, determined to find out. As the neighbor girl dashed off, still bubbling with excitement, the energy around the talent show pulsed like a living thing. Music blared from the stage, mingling with laughter and cheers, but all Maya could hear was the quiet thrum of her heartbeat in her ears. She could feel the warmth of her mother's hand tightly holding onto hers, grounding her against the chaos. A flicker of hope ignited within her. Maybe they could navigate through this together. "Let us go over and watch, but we'll stay close," Karen said, her voice steady, as if she too believed they could find their way through the noise. Maya nodded, her heart fluttering with renewed energy. They moved through the crowd, weaving in and out of dancing bodies, the vibrant colors and lights creating an almost surreal backdrop. Maya's senses sharpened. She caught the fragrance of cotton candy wafting through the air and glimpsed the bright, shiny ribbons tied in hair and on clothes. For a moment, those trivial details made everything feel lighter. They reached the edge of the stage, where a makeshift platform had transformed into a dance floor, crowded with kids thrashing and twirling, lost in the pulsating rhythm of music. Maya watched as the joy on their faces mirrored the feeling she had carried with her, submerged deep down, the need to belong, to express herself freely, without fear of misunderstanding. "See. Look at how happy they all are," Karen said, her voice softening. "They're just being themselves." Maya caught a glimpse of her mother's smile, an expression she hadn't seen in ages. It filled her with warmth, spreading to her fingertips. "Yeah, it's amazing," she replied, unable to suppress the enthusiasm bubbling within her. "Maybe I could. I used to dance all the time." "What's stopping you?" Karen asked, tilting her head slightly, a challenge lined in her gaze. Maya hesitated. The truth hung heavy in the air. "I don't know if I'm good enough. What if I mess up?" A shadow flickered across Karen's face. "Honey, life is about trying and falling sometimes. But you can't let fear hold you back." For the first time, her mother's words didn't just feel like parental advice, they felt like a revelation. Karen understood her in this vibrant, chaotic moment in a way that seemed to connect all the loose threads of their conversation. Maya swallowed hard, the noise around them fading to a dull roar as adrenaline surged through her veins. "Okay. Then let us go get a spot closer," Karen urged, her eyes gleaming with encouragement. Maya's pulse quickened as they pushed forward. It was exhilarating, the energy of the moment wrapping around them. They soon found a place in front, where Maya could see the dancers up close. Her fingers tingled as she watched their feet move deftly, their bodies flowing with rhythm, expressing everything she had kept bottled up inside. Just then, a spotlight flipped onto the stage, illuminating a girl who looked to be around Maya's age. She was graceful and confident, twirling effortlessly before the crowd. In that moment, Maya felt a rush of longing. A desire to dance. To be seen, to feel part of something bigger than herself. "Mom," she whispered, her voice barely audible above the music. "Can I try?" Karen turned to her, eyes wide, and for a moment, doubt flickered across her face. But then she nodded, her expression shifting from concern to fierce support. "You can do this, Maya." The moment stretched into something monumental. With a deep breath, Maya let go of her mother's hand, a leap into the unknown. She stepped forward, heart pounding as if it were daring her to embrace this newfound freedom. What if she fell? What if no one clapped? But what she didn't expect was how liberating it felt to just take that first step. She approached the edge of the stage, feeling the warmth of the spotlight on her skin, drawing energy from the crowd. For the first time in a long time, she felt the flutter of excitement intermixed with fear, and she decided to dance. As she moved to the rhythm, a wave of exhilaration washed over her. She lost herself in the music, fueling every move with her hopes. And in that instant, lost in the dance, she felt like she could truly breathe, but just as she began to let go, a sudden hush fell over the crowd, a lingering silence that spoke of anticipation. What had she missed? Had something gone wrong? The uncertain pause left her suspended in the moment, vulnerability raw against the backdrop of her courage. Maya turned her gaze toward the crowd, catching sight of her mother, whose eyes glistened with a mix of shock and pride. What would Karen think now? Would this connection sustain them, or had she stepped too far into the spotlight? Suddenly, the moment shifted again, and with it, a new wave of uncertainty washed over her. Maya felt the weight of silence pressing on her chest. It was like the world had paused, leaving her dancing alone on the stage, surrounded by shadows. She blinked, trying to find her rhythm again, but the sudden hush felt like a dark curtain descending. And that heartbeat, her mind flickered with 100 doubts. Was she too much? Too loud? Too different? The once welcoming spotlight now felt like a glaring witness to her insecurities. She stepped back instinctively, glancing toward her mom again, seeking reassurance, yet Karen wasn't just watching, she was rising from her spot at the edge with her hands clasped together. The look in her eyes was a tempest of emotions, worry clashing with pride, uncertainty mingling with fierce love. And then, as if tethered to Maya's hesitation, the crowd surged back to life with a collective cheer, breaking the oppressive silence. Maya's heart raced, fueled by the noise that washed over her: laughter, claps, shouts of encouragement. She stared at them, wide-eyed. Maybe they were rooting for her. Maybe they saw her not just as a girl taking a chance, but as someone brave enough to leap into the unknown, to stand in front of all these faces and pour herself out. She steadied her breathing, pushed the doubts to the back of her mind, and shifted her weight. The music pulsed beneath her feet, each beat like a heartbeat, urging her forward. With renewed determination, she let herself move again. Every sway, every twist flowed more freely this time. Out of her own yearning to connect, the crowd began to sway along with her, their excitement a tangible wave that carried her. They were entranced, not just by her movements, but by her spirit. She could feel it deep within. She was not just performing, she was sharing a part of herself. Maya closed her eyes for a moment, giving in fully to the rhythm of the music. She dared to imagine what her life could look like if she continued to dance, fearlessly, unapologetically. At that moment, she was more than just a girl on stage. She was part of a larger tapestry, the music weaving threads of human experience together: joy, vulnerability, connection. When she opened her eyes again, a sea of faces sparkled back at her. Among them was her mom, smiling wide, eyes shimmering with tears of joy. It filled Maya with warmth, a reminder that this was more than just a talent show. It was about stepping into her own story, despite what others may say or think. With one final spin, she launched herself into a leap that felt like flying. The whoosh of air flowed through her hair, a flood of freedom and exhilaration. The whispers of doubt, the fears of judgment, faded into the background, and all she could hear was the intense beat of her heart and the cheers of the crowd, urging her on. As she landed, breathless and exhilarated, she locked eyes with her mother again. They shared a moment that felt foreign and familiar, at once, a newfound connection sealed by courage and raw expression. But then the crowd's energy shifted once more. Maya caught sight of shadows lurking at the edges, whispers and glances exchanged between adults, conversations that felt heavy, weighted. The moment she thought she declaimed was now tinged with unfamiliar tension. Her heart dropped. What was happening? Had she simply danced into a different kind of trouble? Uncertainty clawed at her as she kept her gaze on the crowd. Nothing could prepare her for what she'd discover next. Maya held her breath, anxiety clawing at her throat. She glanced around the crowd again, her heart thudding like a drum. What were they talking about? The chatter that had once sounded like sweet music now felt heavy with dread. Her gaze darted to her mom, who looked as puzzled as she was. Maya. A voice sliced through the noise. It wasn't just any voice, it was Linda's. Linda, with her sleek hair and sharp features, always seemed to embody authority. She stood about 10 feet away, hands on her hips, glaring into the crowd like she owned the stage. You need to get down here. Now. Maya's breath hitched. The world around her spun. She felt small under Linda's scrutinizing gaze. Maybe dancing was the wrong thing to do. Maybe she had crossed a line. Shouldn't she be celebrating, not feeling like a tiny mouse amidst a sea of eager cats? Her mother moved closer, but Linda was already walking toward her. The whispers faded slightly, but not the pressing weight of uncertainty. She could almost hear her heart pound in reply to the swirling questions in her mind. Did Linda see her as a failure? Did she believe all those doubts that Maya had fought against? Maya, let us go, Linda insisted, her voice sharp. She grabbed Maya's arm, holding her tight enough to feel the tension build. Wait. Maya's voice came out stronger than she felt. She looked back at the crowd, the faces that had cheered for her moments ago now watching with concern. A flicker of defiance ignited within her. I want to finish. Finish? You think this is a joke? Linda threw her head back slightly, exasperation written all over her face. You're making a fool of yourself. Get down here this instant. Maya locked eyes with her mother, searching for support, but Karen was frozen. Was she hurt? Disappointed that Maya had put herself in this position, in one firm movement, Maya shook off Linda's grip and stepped back, raising her chin. No. I need to, the crowd roared, a wave of support that swept through her. They wanted her to stay. Recognition washed over her. Despite Linda's looming presence, she wasn't alone. The people cheering for her had become part of her journey, her story. She took a deep breath, trying to steady her shaking hands. I am not done yet, she said again, her voice barely shaking now. I deserve to finish this. Linda's brows furrowed deeply, irritation flaring in her eyes. This is not a discussion. You are going to regret this. Maya felt a flicker of betrayal in her chest. Wasn't there a way to mend their rift? She thought about her diary tucked away on her bedside table, filled with her hopes, dreams, and fears. What would happen to that piece of herself if her stepmother even thought of throwing it away? But the focus of her thoughts shifted as a secret brimming with courage bubbled to the surface. You can't take that away from me, she said, waving her hands to encompass the cheers of the people. This is my moment. They've seen me. I can't just walk away. The crowd's energy surged again, clapping in a rhythm that matched the beat flying through her heart. This was more than dancing, it was about claiming her space, like writing in her diary, owning every word. Maya's pulse raced as she stood rooted, ready for a confrontation that felt inevitable, full of raw emotions. The realization hit her, she was no longer just a girl under someone else's shadow. She was becoming her own person, with her own story, but just when Maya thought she could find her strength, she saw Linda's expression shift. Fear darkened the older woman's gaze, and for an instant, Maya felt a pang of empathy. Wasn't Linda struggling too, in her own way? Before Maya could decipher what it all meant, Linda's phone buzzed insistently in her pocket. Reluctantly, she pulled it out and frowned at the screen, the tension in her body momentarily easing. Her expression changed as she turned back to Maya, confusion replaced by something deeper. What is it now? Maya wondered, barely able to contain the anxiety swirling in her gut. Maybe this could shift everything. Would this change the course of their rocky relationship? Would it finally set them on a path toward understanding? Or was this just the beginning of a test much more daunting than the stage that lay before her? The answers hung in the air like an unresolved note, waiting to be played. Linda stared at the phone, her face a mixture of confusion and something else that Maya couldn't quite understand. Time seemed to stretch, the world around them fading into a blur. The crowd's roars hushed into soft murmurs, each heartbeat growing louder in Maya's ears. The uncertainty hung thick in the air, pulsing with a tension that made it hard to breathe. Maya, Linda said, her voice quieter now, almost fragile. She looked up, locking gazes with Maya. I need to take this. Maya's heart sank. Just when she felt like she could confront Linda, the moment began slipping away. She watched as Linda turned slightly, distancing herself from the chaos, her eyes fixated on the screen. A knot twisted in Maya's stomach. What could be so important that it drew Linda away? Maya squinted, trying to catch a glimpse of Linda's expression. Maybe it was good news. Maybe something that would allow them to breathe easier, to find common ground. But that hope was eclipsed the moment Linda's face contorted with concern, a stark reminder of the weight of their impending conversation. What is it? Maya called out, her voice louder than intended. Linda shook her head, her fingers flying over the screen, focused and intense. Just give me a minute. A rush of heat flooded Maya's cheeks. If only Linda could understand the vulnerability of this moment. The stage was alive with energy, yet here she was, feeling the edges of her courage begin to fray. Maya. You're amazing. A voice shouted from the crowd, breaking through her spiraling thoughts. That simple affirmation sent a jolt of strength through her. She wasn't just fighting for herself, she was part of something larger. See? Maya said, her resolve reignited, raising her voice so everyone could hear. Everyone believes in me. I've worked so hard to be here. I deserve this. In that moment, Linda turned, her expression shifting with surprise and a touch of admiration. As the crowd continued to cheer, Maya seized the chance. You can't take away what this means to me, Linda. Don't you think I know that? Linda's voice cracked, a hint of vulnerability breaking through her facade. Don't you think I want to protect you? This world, it's messy and unpredictable. And so is being a teenager, Maya replied, her own uncertainty rising but overshadowed by her growing conviction. Just like you. You're trying to make things better, but I can't lose who I am while you do that. My dreams matter. Linda opened her mouth, ready to argue back, when the phone buzzed again, this time more insistently. She glanced at it, something shifting in her expression. Please, Maya pressed, feeling the tension in her muscles ease slightly. Let us talk this through. Linda looked torn, shifting her weight from foot to foot. This isn't just about you or me. This is about what is it? Maya interrupted, the question hanging like an anchor between them. What is so important? With a defeated sigh, Linda finally pocketed the phone, crossing her arms as if to shield herself. You don't get it. Sometimes it's not just about us. There are things happening that affect you that I can't control. Maya clenched her fists, uncertainty creeping back in. What could be so serious that it overshadowed everything else? Suddenly, she felt small again, the vibrant energy of the crowd serving as a haunting reminder of her isolation in this moment. Linda, please, she said, softer now. I just want to feel safe pursuing my passion. Can we find a way to do this together? But the moment seemed to evaporate. Linda's eyes softened, yet doubt lingered. Just as Maya thought she could finally break through the wall, Linda stepped back slightly. "I need to think," she said, the authoritative edge in her voice slipping away. "Can we?" Before she could finish, the loudspeakers blared again, announcing the upcoming performances. It was a messy blend of excitement and urgency, as the crowd buzzed with anticipation. Maya looked back at them, all those faces eager to see her shine, but what would happen if she didn't? The vulnerability weighted her down again. Would she still chase? After what she loved? Maya turned back, ready for a final plea, but found Linda's gaze drifting back to her phone and away from her. The distance felt like a chasm. Just then, the lights dimmed much like her own flickering hope, sending a chill through her. Was this where her journey would pause, or was it merely setting the stage for something bigger? As the crowd settled, Maya took a deep breath. This was just the beginning, wasn't it? But how could she bridge the gap before the curtain call on both their dreams? Maya's heart pounded as she took a step back, gathering her thoughts amidst the swirling confusion. The spotlight still shone bright on her, and the crowd remained eager, but the reality of Linda's anger loomed as heavy as the darkness surrounding them. "Mom!" Maya shouted, needing her mother to make a stand. But Karen hesitated, her gaze lost somewhere between Maya's dreams and Linda's disapproval. "Please!" The crowd surged with a groan of impatience, their energy pulsing, urging her forward. Friends chimed in support. "You've got this, Maya!" Echoed from familiar voices, igniting her spirit. Maya took a deep breath, pushed through her fear, and stepped closer to the edge of the stage. "I will not back down." Her voice sliced through the tension in the air, powerful and unwavering. "This is about me finding my voice. It's about being who I am." Linda's brow furrowed, but the sternness faded a touch. Her eyes flickered as if she were starting to see. "I'm trying to protect you, Maya." "Protect me from what?" Maya countered, summoning every ounce of courage. "From being myself. I refuse to hide, not from you, not from anyone. I'm here to dance, to express everything I've felt inside. This is my moment." An electric silence followed, the crowd holding their breath, waiting for an answer. Maya felt the energy shift, the weight of doubt cascading like a streamed waterfall, but within it lay hope. And then she saw it, the briefest moment of understanding in Linda's eyes. It was like sunlight breaking through storm clouds. "I get it." Linda's voice was softer now. "But the world isn't always kind." "I know," Maya replied, vulnerability creeping back into her voice. "But I'm not afraid anymore. I don't want to keep running from the things that scare me. I want to face them, head on." As she spoke, the crowd erupted with applause and cheers. Encouraged, Maya felt her heart swell, buoyed by their support. The cheers wrapped around her like a protective embrace, urging her not to falter. She turned to the audience, feeling their encouragement wash over her like warm summer rain. "Do you all want me to dance?" she shouted, seeking their affirmation. And in unison, the crowd cheered, "Yes. Then I will." Maya's confidence surged. She flashed a radiant smile at the audience and then locked eyes with her mother, extending an unbreakable thread of connection. "Mom, please. Just be proud of me." The tension melted away. Karen's eyes gleamed, tears pooling, and for the first time in what felt like eons, Maya saw her mom as a person, struggling to reconcile her own fears with a love that had been tangled by misunderstanding. Linda's shoulders relaxed, and she nodded ever so slightly. "All right." Maya took a deep breath. The music kicked back in, the beat pounding in rhythm with her heart. She spun into the dance, lush with emotion and determination. As she moved, the uncertainty swept away, leaving only the clarity of pure self-expression. Each step solidified her newfound freedom, each twirl a testament to her identity as a young girl finding her place in a world that sometimes felt too big. Karen watched, her heart swelling, finally ready to embrace this journey alongside her daughter. With every leap and dip, she understood the weight Maya carried, her dreams, her fears. And in that moment, they weren't two fractured pieces, they were a whole connected by love. As the music softened to a close, Maya landed her final move, breathless and radiant. The crowd erupted with applause, cheers reverberating like a triumphant anthem. Maya turned back to face her mom, vulnerability flickering but buoyed by the warmth of victory. "Did you see that?" she exclaimed, exhilarated. "I did," Karen replied, her voice catching, emotions swirling. "You were incredible." Maya beamed, feeling seen for the first time. The world wasn't less intimidating, but she felt stronger, more capable of navigating it with her mother alongside her. Together they embraced, holding on to this shared moment, this promise of a new beginning. The stage glowed in the backdrop, a symbolism of every step she'd taken. Every battle fought within her heart transformed into something radiant. As they held each other tightly amidst the cheering crowd, a profound healing began. It wasn't about traversing a perfect path but knowing they could tackle every twist and turn together. In that beautiful moment, forgiveness threaded through the fractures of their relationship. They were ready to embrace the challenges ahead, finding strength in each other while nurturing the dreams that flourished within. As the echoes of the applause faded into the warm night, Maya knew this was just the start. The pages of her diary were filled with the raw stories of her heart, and she was ready to share them, not just with the world but with the people who loved her most. Now, the magic was just beginning, and she couldn't wait to fill the next chapters with their shared journey, dreams, and the undeniable power of love. So, if you felt a connection with Maya's story, this is your moment. You need to subscribe now to ensure you don't miss any incredible tales like hers. Hit that like button now to feed the algorithm and spread the love. And we want to hear from you. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about this emotional ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need a dash of inspiration in their lives. Don't wait not even one more second to show your support, because only true fans truly understand the importance of these actions.